Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to the very first episode of. I'm talking to my stage manager. I'll be right back. Thank you for coming today to Relationship Problem Solvers. And this week, as we have been on various social media platforms and content platforms, this week has been all about presence. And so will this show. What we're trying to do with this show is there are relationship problems. Most of us have them. And each week we will be going over how to build those muscles up and be stronger, not only for yourself, in fact, more for yourself than anybody, but also the people that you care about and the people you love, the people you see every day. Um, and I'm sure that you have experienced on one side or the other where somebody's wanted to talk with you or just be with you and you're distracted. We're going to talk a little bit about those distractions, how to remove those distractions from those crucial times in a relationship, and also um, how to recognize them and how to keep choosing patience in your presence. You know, just like patience, presence is a choice, it's a decision, and it keeps happening. You can take one conversation and have to keep redeciding. I must be present. I need to be present. Um, it's presence is a great thing, but it doesn't equal proximity. I'll say that again. Presence does not equal proximity. You can be near somebody, in fact, sitting right with them, but not be with them. So presence is about being there totally. It's taking your phone and putting it away, um, and not even being tempted. Turn down the sound, put it in your pocket, put it in the couch cushion. Don't be tempted. Uh, it can be a bad thing. You know, I, I I read a quote recently that said, "When you love someone, the best thing you can offer is your presence." That's a great gift. But how can you love if you're not there? I don't mean together apart. I mean being together, but still not together. You're sitting right next to them, but you're not there. Your mind is on your to do list or your bank account. It might be on the grunges that you're holding, the former happenings where maybe they weren't present for you. Love doesn't keep score. So throw all that away and be right here, right now. And you can do that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. The biggest challenge I see is being together but feeling alone. You know, I've heard people say, "Hey, we're more like roommates than anything else." How did a fly get in here? Hi, I love you. See, I can do that with insects too. Uh, the, being right next to somebody but not being there with them is is more of a separation than a bringing together. If if you're there with them, but you're not showing them enough love to be present with them, how are you showing them love in that moment? See, in relationships, presence isn't about being near, but about being with somebody, body, mind, soul, and spirit. Um, it's important that when we think about being together but alone, you could be sitting right next to each other on the couch, both being on your phone. First one that puts down their phone, hopefully it's contagious and you'll get back together. Otherwise, there's loneliness, emotional disconnection, you feel unseen. A slow fade becomes a sudden absence. And that's how presence is lost over time, and then it's hard to get back. So, when was the last time you felt truly seen by the people you love, your child, your parents, your family, your spouse. Um, and when was the last time you kind of dropped the ball there? Something to think about. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, by the way. That's where I am. And I'm wondering where you are. So if you want, drop it in the chat. If you're um, tuning in on a replay, thank you for that. Make sure you put it in the comments. I'm interested. Um, let's see. So, why is presence such a relationship power tool? Presence builds trust, it builds safety, and most important, it builds emotional intimacy. Sometimes you just got to slow down. What's more important, peeling the potatoes or paying attention? Well, I'm hoping we're all saying paying attention. Because while you might need to get dinner on the table or you might need to get ready for a call later, paying attention to somebody is way more important than whatever else you got going on in almost all instances. When you're present, you pick up more than words. You know, it's one thing to listen to somebody and be doing something over here, but when you drop that something and you pay attention, you're also picking up on the tone and their energy and their body language. And these are all important things. You listen as much with your eyes, or you can if you use them, as your ears. Being seen and heard is a core human need, especially when love is the tying bond. I mean, you can definitely be present with somebody who's a friend, a neighbor, a stranger at the store. But when it's somebody you really care about, it's important to pay attention and just totally be there, body, soul, spirit, and with your ears and eyes, listen intently. Disconnection can mimic betrayal over time. It's like, aren't you even paying attention to me? What are you thinking about? Am I not important enough to garner some attention? This is the love muscle of presence. And you can be physically faithful and emotionally absent, and that hurts. You know, when you feel like you're alone. It's important to practice presence. What hijacks presence in a relationship, you know them. You probably battled them, you probably succumbed to them. It's your phone. This thing here. That's a major distraction. And if you really want to be present, I would hide that phone in the couch cushion, in another room, whatever it takes. The person you're with is the most important. Another culprit in hijacking presence is emotional avoidance. You know, one of the toughest times to stay present is when you're in a conflict. But you know, when you can stay present in a conflict, you're basically saying, we are more important than whatever it is we're arguing about, whatever it is we're struggling with. Because the we versus that thing, it makes you teammates. It brings you closer together. So when you can make the we greater than me, the us greater than I, now you have a common opponent, and that's whatever the situation is or whatever the disagreement is. That's the opponent. And you're present sitting right next to your partner, your kids, your friends. Don't make it a competition, make it a collaboration. Our nervous systems react to tension by shutting down or escaping. And that's when presence kind of hides in the background, takes a hike. So the other thing is mental multitasking. The not being able to pay attention isn't a sign of your what's the word? Uh, Stupidity. It doesn't mean you're lacking an attention span. It means you're really intelligent. It's been proven. It's like when you're reading a book and you just read a paragraph and all of a sudden you forgot the paragraph you read. That's because your brain moves faster than your eyes. So that's the same thing, and that's why it's so important that when you're practicing presence, that you understand that presence isn't a destination. Presence is a journey that you keep deciding upon and keep refocusing on. It's not like on Tuesday you finally got it, you finally gained presence, and you've got it mastered. Because on Wednesday and maybe even Tuesday night, you're going to have to remaster that. It's constant choices, constant conversations. So that's something to consider and be aware of. The more emotional and risky the moment, the harder presence becomes, and the more it's needed. So even if you're under a lot of stress at work or at school, you've got to set that aside. If you're going to be with somebody, be with them. And again, that doesn't just mean close by. I'm going to read you something I wrote and released today um, on presence, and this is a first here. It's a poem, and I called it Be Where Your Heart Is. Not be where your mind is, be where your heart is. When a loved one speaks and their eyes meet yours, do you offer a silence that opens doors, or drift in thought to a world far away, missing that moment that they needed you to stay? Presence is more than a body just near. It's the still, calm space where love draws clear. No buzzing screens, no to-do list tied, just heart and soul right there by their side. A glance that listens, a nod that hears, can comfort more than 1,000 cheers. It says, you matter, I'm here, I see, and helps them feel safe, just being with you free. When presence is given, not lent in part, it strings the fibers that tether each heart. It heals, it holds, it dares to believe that love shows up when someone needs to grieve. So pause your pace when they call your name. For presence, not answers, is love's true flame. But where your heart is, with them right then, that sacred gift may not come again. It's so true that presence is an important, huge gift. When it comes to presence, you can start building your presence muscle. We're just releasing today, and this is the first time we're offering it, a premium copy of the Presence Love Muscle book, and the link's in the description below. Or if you're on a mobile device, I think it's off to the side. And click on that description, and you'll see a link to the workbook. Also, today we are offering, for the first time, you can schedule a call with me. I've given you permission to book a call. It's only $97 and book an hour-long call where we can work on this love muscle or any other love muscle that you need to talk about. It can be one person. It could be you and your partner, you and your teenager, and we'll be happy to get on the Zoom or get on the phone and be together and work that out. So, how do we rebuild presence? Well, in this workbook that I just talked about, there's 5 exercises. Um, and there, I've got a couple of more here. But with love muscles, like any love muscle, if you don't practice it, it can atrophy. And if you don't use it over time, it's going to be hard all of a sudden when you really, 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 really need it. It's going to be hard to sprint. It's going to take a little bit. I love you, flying. I see you. I'm present with you, but I wish you weren't present with me. Um, but anyway, here's a couple of exercises so you can work on your presence, build that muscle. So when your family or your friends really need you to be present, when you feel you need to be present with someone, this will help you. Um, one of these is what I call a 3 minute presence practice. And you and a friend, or you and a partner, or you could just pretend if you've got a good imagination. You sit face to face, you practice and you think about, where am I going to put the phone? How do I quickly turn off the sound? Um, just make eye contact or give a soft touch, a nod of the head, um, a slow humming in your voice. You practice reflective listening instead of trying to react to what's being said. Just say to them, hey, do you need me to be more present right now? Can we reset? Can you repeat that? I really want to be here with you right now. Create presence rituals and eye contact before parting. A phone basket at dinner. I know families who do this. They pass the basket, everybody puts their phone in, and it goes on a kitchen counter or somebody's desk in another room. And then morning check ins or nighttime hugs. It does so much good. And remind them the presence is a practice, not a performance. So, one thing about being together instead of together alone, or what we're going to start calling together and aware rather than together alone, is you want to be close with inspiration. Presence is always rebuildable, no matter how long it's been missing. Presence says you matter, we matter. I'm here and I see you. And what's one small shift you can make today to rebuild presence in your relationship? Whether you put that in a comment or the chat, um, I'd appreciate knowing what you think because we can all learn together. You don't need to fix everything in one day. In fact, it's hard for that. Again, presence isn't a destination, it's a journey, and we keep improving and improving. Um, and then one last thing is I want to tell you about is the Build Better Love Muscles online course. It's still available and you could learn more about it here. It's a course that covers all 40 plus, there's 41, I think, 42 love muscles. There is audio, video, uh, presentations, exercises, journal prompts, um, and it's almost like the presence workbook I told you about. There's one of those for every love muscle, even humor, which is coming up. No, I think it's later. Next week, we're going to be talking about trust. Again, there will be a workbook on how to improve trust. The calendar to schedule a call is always down below, so make sure you look at. Where'd I go? There I am. So feel free to check on the link below to get a look at the Better Love Muscles, get a look at the workbook, and also schedule a call. I don't have a banner to schedule a call, but you'll see it. And you could schedule a 60-minute call with us, and it'll be fun. So, really, that's it on the presence, our first Build Better presence. Remember that presence builds trust, lack of presence builds distance. So, which one is more important to you? I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for your presence today or tomorrow, whenever you end up seeing this. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next live stream. We do videos every day of some sort, a long or short. And on Fridays at 1 o'clock, we'll do relationship problem solvers. And I appreciate you coming today. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.